Let's talk about UX design, but not generally the way you think about it. See, there is one word that actually separates out the amateurs from the pro UX designers who actually get multiple job offers. It's not the word user or interface, it is experience. Yes. In the next 14 minutes, I'm going to completely transform the way you understand what is UX design because the moment you start seeing it the way pros see it, you cannot unsee it. So, you know my style. Obviously, we'll start with a story. Yeah. So, let's actually look at Manu. So, Manu is someone who is trying to go to a music concert. So, if you see what is happening over here, so let me tell you this story. Okay. Manu ran out of her house holding a concert ticket, feeling very happy. Finally, I'm going today. She was sitting in a cab in traffic. She's looking at the car. She's very angry. She's checking the GPS signal and like, when am I going to reach? And then finally, she actually came to the show and she's clapping loudly and very happy. And then suddenly there is a music glitch and she's frustrated. Come on, what is this? She's looking at that loudspeaker and come on, how can this even happen? But then what happened is, once the concert is over, she went backstage and she was actually trying to get an autograph of that artist whom she wanted. She's anticipating that. She's very hopeful that she will actually get an autograph. And when she actually got an autograph from this musician, she is so happy, like excited. That's the lifetime moment for her. So she's very happy. And then finally she came home and I had the best time of my life. So let me have these memories. And just she's thinking about all of that. So this is the story of Manu, who has gone to a music concert. Nice, no? Nice story. You've had similar experiences yourself. So let's do one thing. Let's try and understand the story of Manu. Let us analyze it. So what's happening over here is, if you see, let us break it down. So look at this. Manu wanted to attend the music concert. So what did she want to do? She wanted to see the artist live and also wanted to have an autograph from that person. This is what she wanted. What did she start with? She actually went and started from her home with a ticket in her hand. Okay? Simple stuff. Please keep noting, but all of these things will teach you a lot of stuff. So just keep mentally noting what is happening over here. What is the last thing she did in the story? Manu returned home after the concert is over. Correct? And what all happened? She left the cab. She got stuck in traffic. She reached the concert. She moved through the crowd. These are all the things which she has done. She has acted upon all these things. She experienced that music glitch. She went backstage. She got her poster signed and she returned home. She did all these actions. Yes? Okay. Then, enough. What are all the things which she used while she did this? If you looked at it, she held her ticket. She used her phone. She actually went to the cab. So she used the cab. There was a concert floor. She stood on that concert floor. She went to the backstage. She used that poster, the autograph poster, and then the pen and the book. These are all the things which she has used while she's doing this. Agree? Following? Yes. Now, when she used all these things, what are the things which she act on? She opened the gate. She booked the cab, right? She's showing the ticket at the concert entry. She's dancing in the crowd. She's holding a poster for the artist. She's placing the signed poster on her desk. Simple. And then, what all should she decide on? She decided on how to get into the venue. She was thinking about it. How do I get into the venue? Should I go to book a cab? Should I book an auto? Should I go directly by a bike or whatever? What time should I leave home? Where do I stand in this crowd? Should I wait to get the autograph? Should I say hi to the artist? What do I even talk? How do I even preserve this particular poster? All this. And while all this is happening, she was experiencing all these emotions. She was very excited to leave home, right? She was annoyed in the traffic. She was amazed that the show has started. She was disappointed that the glitch has happened. And when he actually got the autograph, she was very happy. And she was basically calm and peaceful once all of that has happened. This is how we broke down the show. This is what has happened. Would you describe this story in this particular manner? Until now, simple stuff, common sense from the story. Yes? Yeah? Because I'm going to reveal a few terms right now. And I want you to understand this by common sense. Only then it will work. Yes, from this example, what we have learned is to go and describe this particular story of what Manu has done, we need these following elements, which is what I'm representing in this. What is this called? You see over here. When Manu wanted to go to the concert, meet that particular person, that is actually Manu's goal. She wanted to go to the concert. And then we identified, if you see the story did not start from she booking the ticket or probably thinking of whether I should go to the concert and all. The story actually started from where she leaving her house to the concert with the ticket. Note this point, very important point. Okay, that's a starting point of the story. And then there is an ending point of the story. We did not talk about what she did after she actually came home. Did she have dinner? Did she talk with her friends? Nothing. We stopped the story. When did we stop the story? The moment she actually landed at her house, we stopped it. And then all the things which she has done, that is actually called as the flow. All the connected events which she did, if you see, she left in the cab, she got stuck in the traffic, all these connected events, we're actually calling it as a flow. And during this flow, there are two things which are happening. One is she's actually going and interacting with a lot of products. She used a bunch of products. There was a ticket, there was her phone, there was the cab, there is the concert floor, there is a backstage autograph. What are all these things? She's actually interacting with some products. And what is she doing with those products? I just said interacting. She's doing certain actions. She as a human is actually using the product, and we are calling that as interactions. Correct? Dancing in the crowd on the floor, handling the poster to the artist. We call this as interactions. And decisions. While she's doing all these things, she has taken a lot of decisions. And while she has taken all these decisions and doing all these interactions, she's ultimately having a lot of emotions. I'm very happy that person came out. I'm frustrated. This music is not working. Oh my God, when will I reach? She's having all these emotions. Simple. From a story, you understood how a person is actually having their goal. They have a goal over here. There is a start to the story, end to the story, which is going in a flow, using a bunch of products, doing interactions, taking decisions, and having emotions because of all these things. All this has happened to Manu. Note it down, guys. Simple, followed until here, because this is going to be the crux of everything, which is going to be explained from now onwards. Tell me one thing. Now, if at all I asked you a story, you would narrate a story in a similar manner. You will have a starting point, you will have an ending point, you will have a goal for what that particular character is trying to do, what are the actions they did, what are the interactions, what are the products which they used, and what are the emotions which they had. Without all these things, you can't build a story. Now, so if you observe, these are all the things which are making a story which is very interesting. Let us see what this is actually called as. So, from the point of view of Manu, okay, what is happening? She's going through all these series of steps in the flow. If you think of it, Manu had only one series. Though there were multiple decisions, she could have gone in a cab or she could have gone in an auto. But she took only one decision out there, finally. She went in a cab. You need to understand why I'm stressing on this. I actually come back to this, but look at it. She could have done hundreds of things. But what she did, she went only in one particular flow. Do you all agree to this? I'm pausing. Let's say you hear a story. Let us say some Ramayana story. The story happened only in one particular flow, though anything could have happened at multiple stages, right? Ram could have decided not to kill Kumbhakarna. Fine. But that's not what happened in the story. Here, Manu could have decided to not take the autograph. But what happened in the story is she took the autograph. She went backstage. Are you understanding this difference? At each stage, there are endless possibilities or there are limited possibilities. But what happened in the story is one linear thing. So, in her point of view, what did she do? She is going through all these series of steps in a flow, interacting with a bunch of products and taking decisions and feeling the emotions in one particular flow. And that, my friends, is what we call as a journey. Got it? This is what we call as a user journey. What comes to your mind the moment I say journey? What comes to your mind? Train journey, flight journey? Correct? So what is the relationship between what we call this as journey versus what we called as flight journey or train journey? What is happening?
In a certain flow.
Correct. Going from point A to point B in a certain flow, and most of it is just one linear route. Correct? What you had is basically a journey. There were multiple options. You could have sit anywhere, you could have gotten to any train, you could have booked any ticket any day. At every stage, you could have taken a lot of decisions. You would have taken a chai, you didn't, you slept, you did not sleep. There are multiple things you might have done. But when I ask you about your journey, you will talk about what you have actually done. Correct? Now, I'm about to say something which you need to understand even more. When I say I'm planning your train journey, what does that mean? If you're planning your journey, you will plan what is a possible starting point, what is a possible ending point, what are the products you'll interact with, and what are the possible decisions you might take. Correct? But in the past, you have taken one decision. In the future, there are possibilities to take multiple decisions. But then what happens? Let us say you plan to take a cab or an auto. You could plan that I will take a cab, but if cabs are very pricey, I will take an auto. You will also plan for a backup option. That means what is happening is you are planning for multiple options, but not in such a way that there are hundreds of options that you're staying confused. Will you have a big menu which you carry with you? Now hundreds of options are there which you want to eat. No, you'll say either I will have some roti or some rice. And that's it. You fix your mind there. So that at that point of time, you can decide whether you're feeling like eating a roti or rice, but you're not looking at some gulab jamun, this or whatever, and make 100 choices so that you're stuck and you're confused what to do. This is how you'll plan a journey, correct? The only point which I want all of you to realize is when we plan for the future, we just don't let it go haywire. It is important that a human, or in other words, a user, has enough options, but doesn't mean that they have hundreds of options. Because that is the beauty of design. You need to anticipate what journey they're about to take and give them options so that they can make those decisions and have those emotions in their particular journey. And then you'll understand this as concept very simple. That is, if you understood that Manu has ultimately felt all these emotions while actually doing all these things and by achieving her goal, correct? She wanted to go to the concert, come back, she achieved her goal. And therefore she felt, even if she has not achieved her goal, she has felt a bunch of emotions, correct? All of you agree? Is there a human who can go through a journey without feeling any emotions? You can say, Anudeep, I am an emotionless person. That is also an emotion. Right? I just want to be like this long face. That's also an emotion. So is it possible that as a human, you cannot have your emotions while you're doing all these interactions with the products, or in other words, called as a journey? Not possible, right? So this journey, which leads you to take these emotions, is actually called as the experience. So if someone asks you, what's the experience? What's the experience you want to have? Or what's the experience you had? It becomes your journey with plus the emotions. Or in other words, all the actions you did, all the products you interacted with, all the decisions you took, plus the emotions. Because without the emotions, Manu ran out of her house, she went on a cab, she went to the dance floor, she got an autograph, she came back home. Something doesn't feel right over here. Only when I add the emotions, she was very excited, she felt like this, she felt frustrated. That is when you understood the experience of Manu. Why, Anudeep, we're talking about this journey and experience so much? As I said, that is the heart of what we do as UX designers, right? What are we? What designers?
Designers.
User experience designers.
Product
So what is the heart of what we do? We design experiences. Let me give you a small clue, guys. The biggest problem with the design industry or understanding UX is you think you are simply screen designers or asset designers. All I have to do is simply talk about how Manu can simply go to the show and come back. I don't care if Manu is happy or not. In other words, we call this as utilitarian. Are you hungry? Here is the food. That's it. Imagine the restaurant just does that. You're hungry? No, I'm feeding you food. Right? It doesn't work. They will have to design the whole thing for your experience, for the emotions which you're going to have. Wow, what an amazing smell. Wow, look at this ambience. Tell me, will you go to a restaurant if there is no experience over there? Will you do that? You'll not. And you might say, Hanudeep, I do a lot of utilitarian things. Let me tell you, even that is an experience. Because your goal is to do that, you want to feel that you have saved yourself from a lot of mental burden. So you're doing it in a simple way. Even that is an experience. You can't actually get out of it. That's the point. That's the problem with the industry. We think we are just designing interfaces without worrying about what is the intent of the user, what is the experience they're about to have. We completely remove, in other words, it's actually called as a layer of taste. We completely remove the layer of taste and make it completely feel utilitarian. If all you do is design for things happening in a utilitarian manner, you can't call yourself as an experienced designer. That's why this is the heart of what we do as UX designers. Make sense?